AITAH, 30M, for asking my wife, 26F, to cover up during EDM festival. I am not the OOP posted from 2 accounts. You throw RA 6783428 and you throw RA 678,352. AITAH, 30M, for asking my wife, 26F, to cover up during EDM festival. Originally posted to our AITAH. Trigger warning. Controlling behavior. Less than. MMOD spoiler. Adult communication saves the day. Less than. Original post recovered with raw Reddit December 17, 2023. So a little background. My wife has been going to EDM festivals since before we met. The music isn't really my thing, but I've attended several with her and always have a good time. When we attend these, to say she dresses skimpy is an understatement. Thongs, pasties, body paint, etc. I was a little shocked at first, but honestly, she looks incredible. I actually find it a bit of a turn on and don't have any issues with it since I'm with her. My brother got married few months ago and his wife and my wife have become good friends. Which is great. She even invited her, and by extension my brother, to the next festival we plan on attending. And she eagerly accepted. Herein lies the problem. While I love my wife's festival outfits when we're amongst strangers, or festival friends that we only see once a year at the festival, I'm not comfortable at all with her wearing such outfits around my brother. I don't think it's appropriate. I asked my wife if she would tone it down for the festival. I'm not saying dress like a nun, but maybe not have your ass cheeks and tits out. I told her I'd prefer my brother, who we see often, not to be able to so easily imagine her almost nude. She said that she puts a lot of effort into her outfits and that it's part of the experience for her. I said that's fine, but then let's just not go with my family. We could cancel and just go to another one by ourselves like normal. She thinks that's an unreasonable request and that I'm making a big deal out of nothing. She also said that canceling or disinviting my brother and Sil would be incredibly rude and she was looking forward to attending with Sil. She says I'm being a controlling AH. Am I in the wrong here? Update December 19, 2023. I deleted the throwaway account of the original post, but the gist of the original post is that my wife dresses very provocatively at these events when we go together, which I love. However, she invited my brother and Sil to the next one without consulting me first. I asked her to tone down the outfits since my brother will be in attendance, or cancel on them. She thought they were unreasonable requests and that I was being controlling. Many of you agreed and gave me much to think about. It still didn't sit right with me though, so I took another shot explaining my position a little better, taking into account what people said to make a better argument. So I came home from work and asked my wife to have another discussion about the issue as I was not sitting okay with how we left it. My wife started she was a little hurt that I called her outfits inappropriate and that it seemed like I thought she was doing something wrong. She said she just got really defensive and jumped into "nobody tells me what wear" mode instinctively. She also was a little hurt that I wanted to shut down what she thought was a nice gesture. I apologized and told her I may not have communicated well as I was taken by surprise, but that I don't find her outfits inappropriate and that I actually really like them and that she looks gorgeous, but that I am uncomfortable with her wearing them in front of my family. I mentioned to her that she keeps photos of us together when she's wearing that stuff in a private folder on her phone, and also that she only posts tame photos at the camp to social media. Why? I never requested she do that. She said because she doesn't want people from work to see and get a wrong impression since she works in a professional setting. I asked her if she would wear them in front of my mother and she said no. That she was older and wouldn't understand. She doesn't intend it in a sexual way. And the private folder so nobody comes across them by accident. So I explained that we both agree there's a line on who it's appropriate to let see and who's not. And we just have a disagreement on who's on what side of the line. I explained that I get it. The people at the festival get it. Sil maybe gets it. But this whole experience is going to be completely alien for my brother. And he may view some of the more extreme outfits in a sexual way. Particularly throwing dancing and MDMA in the mix. Not that I'd imagine he'd be inappropriate. But that's I'd really prefer he not view you like that. And it has the potential to cause awkwardness between us. I also said that just dressing a little more conservative this one time would really make me more comfortable and able to enjoy the festival with her and them. She said she understood my perspective but still had some concerns. Namely, she's really hoping Sil enjoys herself and wants to continue coming with us, and likely this would mean my brother too. Would I expect her to change permanently? The whole slippery slope thing. I said firstly, we don't even know if they're gonna to enjoy it or want to return. We go 23 times a year. If they end up liking it and wanting to go every year, I'll stop going on my yearly motorcycle trip with the guys and use that time and money to go 34 times a year. We can do one time with them where we keep it PG-13. And the rest just you and me like we usually do. This way you're not losing out on a full festival experience, but gaining an additional family one. I also explained that I'm really happy that her and my Sil are getting along so well, and I'm excited for her to experience this with her friend. But that I do prefer just her and I, because it's like an escape from our regular life where we can just get weird with it. And that bringing people from our day-to-day means I've got to be a little more reserved and can't 100% let loose. She said she totally understands and thinks we just had some miscommunication and that it's a good plan. She said she knows how much I enjoy those motorcycle trips, so being willing to give it up really showed how much it means to me. We're going to look for some new outfits together that will still look great. What I learned from this thread are some of y'all are wild. Calling for divorce on her end. Divorce on my end. Absolute unwillingness to compromise and like insulted at even being asked. How do you go through life or relationships like that? Divorce over mild disagreements. Then there's the folk who feel the need to call a stranger a slut, hoe, etc. I mean, even if you feel that way, what possesses someone to type it out? And the requests for pictures. Gross. Anyways, all is good between us now. I learned a little about communicating my concerns a little better. Everyone is excited for the event. And for those of you that were truly helpful, thanks. Additional info from Oop on if she's making the change for OOP's brother. She's not changing to accommodate my brother. She's compromising to make me more comfortable. I accept that she issues lies with me, and wouldn't even be an issue if I didn't care. But I do. Yes, it's a festival and most women are dressed with little clothing. But most aren't wearing pasties and thongs. Many. Sure. But not most. I just asked her to go middle of the road for this one. I have a few reasons for this. Firstly, I don't want my brother to see my wife dancing around in that state of undress. She gets flirty. She sometimes will lightly make out with other women. I'm cool with this but would prefer family not know, etc. There is a possibility that my brother would start to just see her in a sexual way. And I'd like to avoid that. Secondly, I feel like because it's going to be such a foreign experience for him, he's likely to talk about it to other family or have pictures maybe. Maybe my wife gets caught in the background, and that it gets back to other family members that I see often. As I mentioned before, I come from an Italian-American Catholic family. Like Sopranos without the crime. They lean conservative. I can already hear that, "You let your wife go out like that?" Comments implying that I'm some sort of weak pushover, because they would never allow their wives to do such a thing. Or that I'm some sort of sex freak because I enjoy her dressing like that. And the fact is I do enjoy it. Though I do feel a little bit of shame and guilt about the fact that I do. Like I shouldn't. And yes, it would probably be better for society as whole if I just called them out on their archaic views. Or exclude them from my life if they don't change. But I'm just not that guy. Not everything needs to be a fight. I realize all of this could be solved by letting go of some insecurities, Catholic guilt, and not worrying about what anyone thinks about me or my wife. But I don't know how you just do that. People on the other thread toss that out like it's super easy, but it seems like an insurmountable task to me. And as many people have said, and I 100% agree with, absolutely none of this is my wife's fault or her problem. It's my problem caused by issues I have in not wanting to deal with all this. But I just want to keep certain aspects of my life separate from family and eat my Sunday gravy in peace. This is a repost sub IAM, not the oop. I just don't think most people are ready to see their brother's wife in a thong and pasties. I would need a warning. Wow, that explanation was a total turnaround. Really good explanation of different boundaries that could help solve half the real posts in here. I also love that not everything has to be a fight line. I'm never going to be in total agreement with my family, and that's okay. There's hard lines, but there's also soft things like wearing the necklace you don't like just because your mom gave it to you and you like her. So you make sure she sees it sometimes. Calling for divorce on her end. Divorce on my end. Absolute unwillingness to compromise and like insulted at even being asked. How do you go through life or relationships like that? Divorce over mild disagreements. Again. Redditors throwing the whole divorce thing immediately over something that isn't considered major. Red flags and all. Some people really don't know how relationships work. On the bright side, communication saves the day again. Communication can be tricky for some, but they are helpful to keep the relationship healthy and balance. Glad that Op and his wife are able to work things out. I will laugh my ass off if the Sil ends up coming dressed even worse than OOP's wife. I think anyone who claims that those EDM festivals are not sexual are just straight up lying to themselves, or have never been to a festival. I don't think it's unreasonable for someone to say, "Hey, I don't want my blood relatives to see you in a thong and nipple covers." If she wouldn't dress like that when her own brother would be in attendance, then it makes sense to cover up in front of her brother-in-law too, I think. What's the deal with the trigger warning? There's literally no controlling behavior displayed here. Just a very reasonable request by OOP. I absolutely love this update. I don't think the husband was wrong at all. Good for this married couple for being able to communicate fairly well. I really don't understand the thought process behind the people commenting that this is grounds for divorce. I went to an EDM festival for the first time in 20 years. Back in those days, they were called raves. Lol anyways. I wore short shorts and a tank top. I couldn't believe how overdressed I was. The women there were literally topless and barely their thongs. I was just like, well, I guess it's like this nowadays. I can understand how it could be a shock to the Bill if he's never been to one, nor has he seen his Sil dressed like that. Trigger warning. Controlling behavior. Nope. OOP was completely reasonable here. Wow, he's such a controlling maniac. He doesn't want his wife to be practically naked in front of his brother-s. Get a grip, Reddit. So, was OOP's wife just gonna pick up her in-laws in nothing but a thong and body paint? and expect them to be not shocked about it? Or was she planning on telling them beforehand? Because what if she had shown up, gotten some looks, and then they cancelled on her? That sounds like a worse and somewhat likely outcome. I think he was pretty rational. We know who in our circles we can be a bit more open with and who not. Man knows his brother. If she's letting damn near everything hang out and making out with random women in public, it is sexual. And I wouldn't want a sibling to see that either. That's not controlling. That's a reasonable boundary. Curious to see how the brother and his wife fare at this event. Letting go of Catholic guilt, if oop figures that one out hell never have to work again. What I learned from this thread are some of y'all are wild. Calling for divorce on her end. Divorce on my end. Absolute unwillingness to compromise and like insulted at even being asked. How do you go through life or relationships like that? Divorce over mild disagreements. Bro is new to Reddit. I've been to festivals and am comfortable wearing whatever I feel like, but I would forego a thong and pasties if my in-laws were going for sure. The wife didn't really think it through. She was going to be the subject of family gossip. Worlds are colliding. George is getting upset.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.